Hello and welcome to another episode of this Expat Life. My name is Amanda Maxime and I will be your coach and host for today. And I am back in the digital studio with a guest after a little while actually. I'm really happy that I'm being joined again by new guests on the show as they have so much expertise for you to share. And today I'm joined by Manuela Weiss. And Manuela is a professional organizer that has recently opened her professional organizing company called The Green Organiser. And she's originally from Brazil, the country that I love so much. But before moving to Arnhem in the Netherlands, where she lives now, she also spent 12 years in Italy. So she's all too familiar with the expat life that we all live. And she considers herself actually both Brazilian and Italian. And from a young age, organization has always come naturally to her. And now she lives for the purpose to bring order to people's lives. And I love this because I could definitely use some of that in my life. So I'm really, really excited to be speaking to Manuela today. Manuela, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, so am I. So tell us, where are you calling in from at the moment?
Right now, I am in Arnhem, Netherlands, Helderland. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Helderland, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Arnhem. Been living here for 2 years.
2 years now. That's great. And how are you finding it so far?
I like it. Arnhem, I like the parks from Arnhem. The fact that the Veluwe is really close. So whenever you want to have a bit of green and nature,
Yeah,
like it just, everything is close.
that is
Nature
really
is close.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super nice. Good to hear. So, can you share a little bit about how you got to your organizing activities as a professional now? And you've been doing it for, did you say, is it also 2 years that you have started your
No,
business?
I opened the company, the Green Organizer, in July this year. So it's very
Oh,
recent.
very short. Yeah.
Yeah. But my history with organization in general is longer than that because, yeah, like you said at the beginning, I've always been very organized since I was a kid. I think because I moved a lot as like with my family
Mm-hmm.
back in Brazil. So I don't know, maybe that made me it was necessary to be organized and have to organize the new room again and
Yeah.
all of that, but that's something that comes natural to me, just be nice and then organized and a bit of perfectionist.
Yeah.
And I would often organize things for my friends, for my family. When I go back to Brazil to my father's house, I would organize his house.
Mm-hmm.
It just relaxes me a lot.
Yeah.
And one day, back in Italy still, my friend was just told me like, Manu, do you know that people do this for work, like as a work? And in that moment, like the light just goes on, like
Yeah.
switches on, like, oh, maybe I could do this for work. Why not?
Yeah.
So that stayed in my head, but I never do anything about it. But when I came here, starting a new life and all of that, I thought, why not? So then I did a course and then I start writing my business plan and all of that. And July I finally opened it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your
Thank you.
business, on taking this step, and welcome to the Entrepreneurs Club. It's a really
Thank
fun
you.
club of fun people. And
Yeah.
it's really excited that you had this eureka light bulb moment that it just
Mm.
clicked inside of you and you also took action on it. So that's really great. And maybe for everyone who's listening, like, why did I invite you on the show? It's because I feel like because expats move so much that they all the time have to deal with their clutter, right? If you always live in the same house and you have a big attic or a basement or some storage room, like you don't have to look at it. It's just your clutter is where it is and you just have to deal with the daily stuff. But as an expat, as you move around, like you did when you were a kid, you have to go through that stuff again and again. And you're being challenged with the question like, do I want to keep it? Does this spark joy? I don't know if this Marie Kondo is your style as well. And I personally also struggle with it because I recently cleared out some, I don't know, some stuff in my room, and I saw some items and I thought, wow, I've been carrying these things around with me to 3 different countries and I still haven't used it. And yet I bring it with me every time I move abroad. Like, why? And so I realized, hey, this topic of clutter and organization is also very relevant for expats simply because you move so much. So this is also why I invited you on the show and to hear your professional take on things so we can get a few tips from you and make organization a little bit more easy for us in our busy lives. So thank you again, yeah, for
Some
being on the
tips and
show.
all of that. Yeah. And that was
Yeah.
exciting for me to talk about organizing. So
Cool. So maybe let's just start very simple. What does a professional organizer do?
yeah, there's a question that I get a lot here in Netherlands. In Brazil, is very in North America also is a profession that is growing a lot, so people know what it
Ah,
is. But
yeah.
here, I feel like people doesn't know much. But it's basically, in very simple words, it's a person that comes to your house and finds together with you, works together with the client to find an organizational system for that family, or for that person, or for that office.
Yeah.
So we hear the problems of like the pains of the I like to call pains
Yeah.
of the client, like this is not working, this is not working, and we make a project for
Yeah.
that family specifically, looking at those problems that the person brought us, and we make an organizational system and
Mhm.
do also the organization, so the actual
Mm.
organization, folding and putting the things on the wardrobe and the closets and all that.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So it is both like something that they can continue in the long term without you. So you build a system for them, but you also help them implement the system the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
time.
exactly. And we also help with the decluttering if it's necessary. So helping decide, we don't decide for the client what they need to keep, what they need to go, of course not. But we help on that, we guide that also in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
process.
Because obviously with clutter, like the issue is there's so much emotional attachment to it, or you think like, oh, but I could use that in the future. And from an outsider perspective, it is so nice to help you decide, like, should I really keep this or not?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I get, yeah, that's where you also help.
Yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. For example, yesterday I was organizing a kitchen and a deposit, and this family happened to have so many bags, like those ones that you pay at some market and then you
Yeah.
get to bring, but like around 25. Only seven only from IKEA, the huge ones. And that's the thing, for me, like an outsider, I can see they are not going to use all of that, all of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And I try to say, I think it will be interesting for you to declutter. But when the client says, or like doesn't look very comfortable with it, or is a bit attached, okay, so we keep it, and I kept,
Yeah.
and I kept. So that's important. We guide it. We try to guide it, but if we see resistance, it's up to them. We
Yeah.
don't get to decide anything like that.
Yeah. And so at what point do people actually decide to hire you or other professional organizers? Like when do you, especially because here in the Netherlands it's not very common, and I've seen it before, like on the Netflix shows, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm always curious, and I thought of it myself, like maybe I should hire someone, but like what is the point usually that they contact you?
Um, so ideally, it would be interesting to to call a professional organizer when you're moving to a new house, because you enter the house and it's already organized, right? You just need to tidy it up, let's say. But when people actually feel like they need a professional organizer is when
Yeah.
the clutter has been made, has been accumulated, when people are desperate, and happens because people work full time, people have kids, have animals, have pets, so it's totally normal to arrive in a point that I'm desperate, I don't know what to do, I don't have time, or I have time to organize it but I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the moment. That's
Yeah.
what the moment people actually like usually call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never go with judgment. I really understand that people have all the priorities. They prefer spending time with their kids, of course I would also, and sometimes the organization of the house comes second place,
Mm.
and that's totally understandable, and that's why I love what I do. I like to help people just have more light lives.
Nice. I mean, when you were saying your answer, I was like, oh wow, there are so many similarities with my coaching, because like you say, when people start thinking about maybe I should hire a
Mm-hmm.
professional to help me, that's actually the moment that yeah, it's time for you to take action on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you help people with their physical clutter, and I help them with their mental and emotional clutter, and to live life more lightly afterwards. And there's also
Exactly.
zero judgment. Like
Mm-hmm.
life just happens to you, clutter happens to you, and we can't always like do it everything by ourselves. And sometimes we just need an outsider and a little help
Mm-hmm.
from that person to
Yeah.
clear things up again. So, yeah, I like this perspective.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
very
Cool.
nice.
Yeah.
So I know you don't help expats specifically, but I think you've helped them before and you are also an expat yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the challenges that expats could face in the organizational arena?
Yeah. For now, I only had expats, clients. But if one day I get to have a Dutch client here in the Netherlands, I think there will be some differences. I think especially when it comes to like um, the pantry. Because every expat, I'll talk for Brazilians at least and Italians, when we go back to our country, we bring back food.
Yeah, yeah.
We bring back a lot
Yeah.
of food. Or if we cannot go there to actually take them, we order them. And we order a lot.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you need space for that. You need to reserve space for that. And I think that might be the the biggest difference between expats and non-expats organization. I think so. Like to be aware that there are different necessities when it comes to the pantry and organizing the kitchen and the house, I guess. But if we're talking about expats that move a lot,
Hmm.
like have to move every year or every, I don't know, every few months, I think the most important thing and the difference that is more, like there out there is the importance of the clutter.
Yeah.
If you move a lot, you need to be aware of what you have, of what you own.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Mm.
I myself, I don't travel that much, but just for the organizational part, I keep everything written on my notes. I have an app that I digitalize my wardrobe.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah,
Oh, that's
that's
good.
actually I want to recommend you that because I
Yeah.
remember I listened to one of your episodes and you said you have a chaotic mind when it comes to organizing your clothes and all. That's a really good app. But it's a lot of work,
Hmm.
but it's very interesting because you take a picture of every clothes you have, all of them, and then you separate by the category. It's
Hmm.
called Your Closet on Android, for Androids, and you keep that on your phone. You can plan outfits and all of that. It's really great.
Mm.
But anyway, I was talking about the clutter. Yeah, it's important to keep to know what you earn or to own. It's
Hmm.
really important that because let's say you move to a new house or a temporary home, who has time to be, like open the all the boxes and I actually have that. Oh, I actually have that.
Yeah.
No, you need to know what you have already.
Yeah.
Then make me no, we don't need to, but it will make your life much easier.
Yeah. I recognize this a lot. I really don't know what I own. And every
Mm-hmm.
move, I'm then being reminded, like, oh, yeah, damn. But you know how that goes. Or maybe you don't, but you've heard it from your clients. Like, they are stored away in boxes or in cabinets, whatever. And so whenever I don't open them, I don't see my clutter and I can just pretend it's not there. And right
Mm-hmm.
now, in a couple of weeks, I'm moving to Brazil for 6 months. And so I need to clear out my house and really get things decluttered here. And it's been weighing on me, this task, that I know I need to do this because I just know, oh yeah, there's so much more than I realize. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a huge task. And I just delay it and more because it feels so big. I don't want to get started. So do
Yeah, I
you
can
have any
imagine.
tips for people in my situation, people who tend to like pretend their clutter isn't there?
Yeah, I think just start small. and start by category. Don't go, okay, I'm gonna do the whole house now. No, start only with your clothes first, then start with your books. Go by category, one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start with category, finish it. Like, I'm starting the clothes today, I have to finish. I cannot leave it in the middle and then start something else.
Yeah.
Finish that one, then finish the other one. Put a nice music in your house. I know you have your cats, just
Yeah.
be with them, make it fun, and just be very honest with you. You told us about the dress that probably you're never gonna use.
Yeah.
Just be honest. Like, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful, but am I gonna use it? Or like, will I use it? If it's a maybe, just think like, okay, this is taking space. Space can be clutter.
Mm-hmm.
Clutter is stress. Stress is time.
Yeah.
Just yeah, just make this process of head, like, okay, this is not only a dress. It's more
Yeah.
than that.
I love this. So you keep like the consequences in mind as well. So the
Yeah.
consequences of your choice of keeping it, if you want to keep the dress, that's fine. But do know that then this is going
Yeah.
to give you clutter and stress and not this light feeling that you want to have if you move country.
Yeah,
I like it.
exactly.
Yeah, that is a really good one. I think something that has helped me recently, because I have been sorting out some stuff already, was just like keeping my bigger goal in mind. So I actually didn't think about the consequences, but more like, okay, but I want to move and I want to live a life that feels lighter. So that's why I'm doing this now. But I also like the approach of like, okay, what are the consequences of my choices if I keep it or not keep it? That's a really good.
Yeah, I think that's important to it's a process that's important to go through, and yeah, be really really honest with you.
Yeah. And another thing that I struggle with most is just like this clutter that could be useful one day. Like I have so many batteries,
Mm-hmm.
things for the house, I don't know, things to wrap presents in, like all this extra clutter that is, I feel, is most in my life. And every time I go through these boxes, I'm like, oh yeah, but this is useful. I could use this one day. Oh, if my cat gets sick again, then at least I have something for that. How do you deal with that kind of clutter?
I think it depends on the space you have available in your house,
Mm,
because let's say two, three, let's say 5 packs of batteries in a house maybe doesn't take much space, but in a 50 square meters
yeah.
apartment, that is important. It's an important space that we are using for the batteries. So again, I think it comes also like with always with the be honest with you. Is this too much for now? Somebody else can use it, or am I going to use in the next year all of these batteries, all this wrapping paper? And I don't know if everyone can do that, because I can imagine things in my head very easily. So I don't know
Mhm.
if everyone can do it. But when I have to make the decision for myself, like, oh, should I keep it all? I imagine the space without that, or with
Mm.
and if it the American thing, if it sparks me joy, the imagine of, oh, that would be free, or oh, then I think there's the answer. Oh, okay, maybe I
I
should let it go.
love this. I love this approach. Yes, because you take it away from your brain and you go more to your heart and you visualize what it is, without or
Joy,
with. And
yes.
whatever sparks most joy is like that is your answer. You're just using your
Mm,
intuition. I love this
yeah.
approach.
Yeah,
Nice.
try it.
Yeah,
Let
I'm
me
definitely
know.
going to try. I'm all excited now to get started. And one other thing that I struggle with, and I'm sure other expats have it too, and it has become easier for me, but the emotional attachment to a few things that you had from that time there. So
Mhm.
I had, I made so many trips. I always buy some souvenirs for the house or something. And so I have beautiful pillows from Turkey that I don't use anymore, but I can't throw them away because, they are so cool from Turkey. And then, so that is just a trip, but then I have stronger attachment to the things of places where I lived. So especially my time from Brazil, the things that I bought there, like it's so difficult for me to throw it away because it reminds me of who I was there.
Mm.
And that feels difficult for me to just leave that era of my life. So what tips do you have for people who are struggling with that as well?
It's a bit hard to say, like, and I know what you mean, and that's very personal. That's what I want to say. That's very personal. And I think maybe a solution would be creative
Mm-hmm.
somehow. For example, you said you have many pillows. I already imagine in my head because I visualize things.
Yeah.
All the pillowcases that you have, you can maybe like make somebody do it. I don't know. Cut a piece of it and make like, I don't know how to say that in English, when you have like one fabric but it's piece of many
Yeah, a
pieces,
kilt,
different
I think.
pieces. Yeah,
Yeah.
and make a frame out of that and make on the wall, that you still have a visualization of all the travels you've done, and the people that you met, and all of that experience that you went through, but occupying less space. So I think creativity can be a solution. And I think that's like, I don't feel like saying, oh, you should not keep it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that's too personal. But something that I do is trying to keep things that don't take much space. For
Yeah.
example, now me and my husband, we have a Polaroid. So instead of buying an actual souvenir from the country, we take a picture
Oh
with the
yeah.
Polaroid and put it on a wall.
Yeah.
So I think solutions that you still have the memory, you still have the experience, it still brings you joy, just to look at it, but it takes less space.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a good one. I've also heard sometimes like to make like a memory box. So you are allowed one box and you can keep your memories or
Also,
souvenirs, whatever you want to keep in there. So that is also something perhaps that I could
yeah, indeed. Yeah,
consider.
yeah. If you have
Yeah.
space for it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Nice.
you have space enough, also a little corner of the memories,
Mm.
pictures and souvenirs and shelves.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. And what other tips do you have generally? I mean, for expats or for non-expats, but like, what do you see happening often with your clients that you are like, oh, but I have such a simple tip for this?
Hmm, let me think. Uh, Coming back to the being aware of what you have, I think just write down. Just write down,
Mm.
like in your notes on your phone. For example, if you have a deposit and you have there, I don't know, this this extra vacuum cleaner that you don't really use, but it will come handy one
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
because maybe you go to a bigger house and all of that. Write in your notes. In deposit, there's an extra vacuum
Yeah.
cleaner. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have that in my
Yeah.
own notes. And yeah, and sometimes just open this note, just to have a remember, like to remember yourself or what you earn. And the app that I said before, there's a very, very, very handy app,
Hmm.
because it also helps with people that, without realizing, buy too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
buy too many things, like, oh, this t-shirt is in promotion. Wait, let me see if I don't have something similar, or let me see if I already don't have too many t-shirts. And you can
Yeah.
see, in the app.
Yeah.
So I think apps and all this technology that we have right now, we can use for organization and being more aware of what we have.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. And I'm totally gonna use this interview for my own advantage. But okay, so I'm like a busy person. I like to work a lot already before when I was a diplomat, I was always busy working or traveling and always away. And so a lot of high achiever expats listen to this show and they lead a similar life. So what tips do you have, not to really for the big decluttering and stuff, but to keep it organized once you have your system and you are just so busy? Like, what tips do you have for those busy professionals?
Yeah, I can imagine the daily life of busy people like that. It must be a bit harder to keep it organized, the house organized.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's good to keep in mind that organization is a thing, and the tidying up is another thing. Organization is having an organizational system, so every little thing has its own house, its own home. So if you take out the scissor, you know where it goes because it has a little house, you know, that's organization. And tying it up is actually after using the scissors, you put it back. That's tidying up. And I think the tidying up is the part that people with busy lives must find a bit more harder, you know. So the tip is organize. Organize so you know where to put the things. And also be a bit I don't want to say how can I say that, like have a rule with yourself. I used it, I'm gonna put it back. I took those scissors, after I'm done, I'm gonna put it back. If you're not at the same moment because you're busy, you have to go to work, at the end of the day, you know, if you cannot do it before, ideally, for your mind, for a peace of mind, for your to have that lightness in your life, is leaving the house tied up before you leave the house. So when you come back, you look forward to going to your bed. You know? Look, oh, I'm going to that place that is organized, that is tied up, and I'm just going to relax. So ideally, if it's possible, after you had your breakfast in the morning, put everything, you know, in place. So then that's when you come back home, is just relaxing time. And if you have the opportunity, sometimes it's also important to cheat. Just throw inside your closet, you know, the things. If you can organize, throw the things in your closet, have that moment of peace, and when you feel ready, go organize it.
Oh, yeah. So you take into account your own energy at that day as well.
Yeah, because visual declutter is a huge thing. We don't realize that. It's nice to have a kitchen with many appliances and stuff, but everything in the counter is clutter, is visual clutter.
I notice the difference so much whenever my cleaning lady has been around, because she doesn't just clean, she also tidies it up for me without asking, which I love. And so every time that she's been and I come home, I'm like, oh wow, I feel space, I feel calm, and it is such a huge difference.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for us, especially for busy people, that to look forward to go home. Home should be the place that you're gonna be in peace, that you like it. You cannot go like thinking about the travel back home, think, oh, the house is so messy. You know, it's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. And I certainly felt that. I mean, I'm not always so happy here in my house. And one of the reasons, it has become much less, but one of the reasons that there was just so much stuff. I moved from a very big house back to, well, it's definitely not small, but it feels small, a small apartment. And when my dad died, I also had to take in lots of his stuff, which is still in my cupboards and my storage room. So it's a lot better now, but in the beginning, I just always felt like this house is just too full, and not just the physical clutter was actually a reflection of what was going on emotionally and mentally. So this is also why it didn't feel so nice to be at home or to return home every time. So I totally understand what you say.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Great. Yeah, we are both a bit sick. We already shared at the beginning. This is not a good time in the Netherlands or in the US where I was. I feel like everyone I met has just been sick. But Manuela, thank you so much for sharing your tips and being on the show. For me, I already feel like I have much more vigor to go about this decluttering process that I still have to do before I leave. I will definitely put your tips into practice. And personally, and this is also just maybe a general tip for everyone who's listening, I always I mean, I'm obsessed with the new year and starting it in, in good energy and thinking about my goals. But one thing that I think is really important is that you need to make space for new things to come into your life first. If you don't make the space, it is hard to welcome new things in. And so one of the things that I like to do at the end of the year is to just make space physically. So I organize more, I throw things away, I go through my phone, I delete some photos. I've got like 36,000 photos there. So it is time again. Also my computer, but also just really the house, like just to make space to welcome in the new year. So everyone who's listening, like, and you feel inspired by this, take Manuela's practical tips to have that space happen in your life, in your surroundings. And so you have space to welcome beautiful things in 2024.
I like that.
Yeah. Manuela, you know that I always close the episode with a question for all my guests. And I have the same question to you. And that is, what is your number one hack to make living abroad easier?
I thought about that a lot, and I thought in this case, I'm not gonna like involve the organization on it, because I feel like being an expat is just is already a big thing. Is already a very important part of ourselves, just be an expat.
Yeah.
And for me, if I have to give if I have to give a tip, is, it might sound a bit negative.
Go ahead.
But it's something that it works for me. Like, it's gonna be an amazing experience to be an expat, but it will also come with difficult moments.
Yeah.
And for me, that helped me, to be honest, because when I moved here 2 years ago, I've been through it already when I went to Italy, and I know the difficulties. And I thought that this time maybe, it's gonna be different, but no, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard,
Yeah.
but you're gonna go through it. You're gonna come out of the experience much stronger. So just keep in mind, it's be amazing, but it also come with difficult moments.
Yeah.
But you're gonna go through it.
Yeah. So
I
that's
keep
nice.
that in mind a lot.
So basically your tip is more to have more realistic expectations, I think. Like it's just gonna happen.
Yeah. It's gonna be hard. Yeah. I think because I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe it's just a Brazilian thing, but going abroad is, it's gonna be only amazing moments. No.
Yeah. No.
It's gonna be also hard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's good to realize that before you go. And I'm going to Brazil in a couple of weeks, and to me, it's also going to be like, oh, it's going to be amazing. And it's a good reminder that no, there will be hard times for me as well. Yeah, so it's good to know that in advance. So when that happens, you're more prepared, right?
Exactly, yeah. But then you know that it's just a moment, and then at the end, it's going to be an amazing experience. You're going to grow, you're going to meet amazing people. Brazilian people, in your case, is so welcoming, right? So,
I know, yeah, I know. I'm so looking forward to hanging out with all the cariocas and to
Can I go with you?
Yeah, you are very welcome. I've got so many people asking me this, so I feel like more people are ready for some tropical vibes in their life. I will for sure share everything on Instagram, what I always do, so you and everyone else can travel along with me.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Manuela, thank you so much again for sharing your tips. I'm going to put them into practice. I hope the listeners will do that as well. And if they want to know more about you and learn from you, where can they find you?
Oh, on my Instagram, thegreenorganizer.po. And I have also a website, but all the links are on Instagram. So yeah, I think the easier one is just the Instagram, and there's the link for the website. Yeah, so, and if when you're going through your declutter your things, if you feel desperate, just text me. I'll help you.
I might do this.
I'll be there with you.
Thank you so much, Manuela, and we will keep in touch.
Keep in touch. Bye.
Bye-bye.